we meet at last.
What? Why is the white-haired girl here? Never mind that. Where am I? I was trying to get back to the mansion. How did I end up here? Mary, keep going.
I'm having network issues. The screen's frozen.
Okay.
Do you know who I am?
Of course I do. Could I not know who you are?
Splendid.
But what are you doing here? Why is there a sword in your hands? And why can I not speak?
I was able to return this to the gathering place of souls thanks to your efforts. Your uncovering of the truth of those events that transpired so many years ago allowed me to remember everything I had forgotten. To remember who I am.
Remember who you are? You mean that you're a part of Morgana?
My apologies. Bringing your soul here without any preparation has left you in a bit of a nebulous state. But my heart told me that I had to do this now. Though you have no voice, I can feel your presence quite clearly. Oh, Michelle, namesake of the great Archangel Michael and man of tremendous virtue, I have brought you here to ask for your assistance. I pray you will be able to help me. My request for you is simple. Take this blade, and with it, extinguish my soul.
You. What are you? Extinguish your soul?
I realize that it's cruel for me to ask this of you, and for that I deeply apologize. But I want it to be you who sends me off. Could you grant this girl her selfish request?
That's not why I sought the truth. Not because I wanted to see anyone extinguished, but because I wanted to set everyone free from the mansion's cursed bonds. Because I wanted to put an end to this cycle of pain and suffering. Because I wanted to save every last person caught in this tragic quagmire. That includes you. You're asking me to eradicate your soul?
I must be destroyed. You can't tell me that after everything you've seen, you haven't realized that I have no place in their lives. While it's true Morgana wished for misfortune to befall them, if I hadn't been there, none of their tragedies would have taken place. If I hadn't been there, the flaxen-haired girl would have been able to let go of her yearning for her brother. If I hadn't been there, the shipwrecked merchant's lover would not have lost her place as his tether. If I hadn't been there, the ambitious businessman would not have been betrayed by his close friend.
Why are you acting like it's all your fault? Are you trying to say anyone would be better off without you?
I was not a victim in their tragedies. I'm culpable for them.
Culpable? Like hell you were. I saw everything, from start to finish. You didn't intend for anything bad to befall anyone. You always acted out of the good of your heart. You're trying to tell me that makes you culpable?
What do you say we answer one last lingering question, Michelle? The question of what I am. The explanation might be a bit lengthy, but I would like to share it with you before I depart. I was, as you ascertained, created by Morgana's mind as it broke down in that tower. I was born to be receptacle for her pain, to ease her suffering. But there's more to the story than that, Michelle. Upon her death, Morgana's soul was afflicted with great pain, resulting from the hatred and resentment she bore. The fact that she viewed herself as a saint only served to amplify that agony. Her identity as a saint gave her purpose in life, while simultaneously constraining her. A saint must put herself second to all others. She must be caring, generous, forgiving, and she must not bear any ill will for anyone. That was not how she felt deep down, though. She was not a saint out of the goodness of her heart. She wanted to hate them, but her identity would not allow her. Those two conflicting aspects of herself tore Morgana apart. She was unable to withstand it. So, she took all her saintly characteristics and gave them to me. Caring for others, putting herself second, being forgiving, and then she severed that part of her soul.
So that's why you'll seem so abnormally pure-hearted.
I was no longer a part of Morgana, but something entirely separate. However, I wasn't me yet either. When you came to the mansion and resurrected Morgana, you resurrected me as well. But I had no self at first. I was, I suppose, not much different than the particles of dust floating around the mansion. But eventually, that dust gained a sense of self, taking form as a human soul, and descended into the realm of man and the fate which governs it. What do you think the first thing a new soul wishes for when it is born, Michelle? To live. I wished for a continued existence in this world. In a world where I was never meant to exist.
I refuse to accept that there's anything wrong with wanting to live.
I was supposed to remain within Morgana as a part of her. I was never meant to be a soul of my own. To become one was to turn against the laws of the universe. I wished to live, and Morgana wished to curse the three men's souls. Though we sought after completely separate things, because we were once two parts of a whole, each of our wishes were shaped by the others. In order for an incomplete soul like mine to survive, it needed something to bind itself to the world. Something strong enough to prevent the universe from correcting the anomaly. And so the wish of that anomaly gave birth to yet another anomaly. A house that sat outside the currents of time. One that could descend into the mortal realm at various times and places. And it was that house that served as a tether for my soul.
You mean it was Morgana's power that created the mansion? Your own wish?
And why did it have to be that house that bound me to the world? Because that was where she lingered. The girl from which I was formed. Which meant that my wish had the consequences of granting Morgana's with it. The house, having attained perpetuity, served as a place for those reconstructed by Morgana's curse to return to. Furthermore, my connection with her had another consequence. I was the one most affected by her wish. As much as I may have wanted to do good, for them to be happy, my fate was dictated by her wish. In that position, my merely showing affection for anyone was damnable. Falling in love was an act of villainy. My very presence malevolent.
Don't say that.
I was the true witch, the true demon child.
Stop talking, please.
It should never have been possible for me to have a life at all.
Please, stop.
The universe must be returned to its proper state, Michelle.
Don't talk about yourself like that.
I must be erased, and Morgana's soul restored to its original form.
But why?
I do not belong here. I never belonged here.
What's so wrong? You're wanting to live.
The defect must be repaired.
You're not a defect. Damn it. Why couldn't I be able to get a word in now, at least?
The restoration will not be instantaneous. It took many, many years for me to be formed. And it will take as long, if not longer, for the process to be reversed. But her soul will eventually return to its proper state. And perhaps, when her soul is restored, Morgana won't be a human. Perhaps she will be a butterfly resting upon the lip of a flower. Perhaps she will be the flower. Perhaps she will be the breeze in which that flower sways. But whatever form she takes, it will be her, whole and complete. With me gone, no more tragedies should take place. So please, take this sword and extinguish me. Put an end to this cycle of misery. I want you to be the one who does it. Please. Kill me.
I can't. You're asking too much of me. Yes, I want to save Morgana's soul, but do you really have to die for that to happen? Is there not some other way?
Won't you do this for me?
I cannot. I could never take that sword.
I know it's unfair of me to ask this of you, but I want it to be you. As selfish as a request as it may be, I want the curtain drawn on this ersatz life by the man I admired so deeply.
You admired me?
Let's talk a little bit about that admiration, shall we? And where I got my physical appearance. This goes back to when I was a mere particulate matter, drifting about the mansion. While I still had no mind of my own at that point, I witnessed everything that took place within the house. And in the moment of your death, Michelle, was I born.
You saw my death?
Your actions that day appeared to me as the very definition of selfless and honorable. Your life bore many similarities with Morgana's. You were both abused, imprisoned, called a witch. But while Morgana sought vengeance, you watched your own mother burn your crucified body, and you wished for release rather than revenge.
There's nothing honorable about that. I just lost all hope for myself.
I expect you'll disagree with me, say that it was a sign of your weakness, but that was not how I interpreted it. Self-sacrifice being one of the core characteristics Morgana gave to me, I was deeply moved. You didn't curse those who had wronged you in life. You chose your own destruction. And I admired that strength of spirit. That admiration helped to shape my wish, to determine the form I would take, the name I would have. That's why whenever I gained a physical body, it was modeled after yours, with snow white hair and ruby red eyes. Why my name was always Michelle, after the same angel from whom you took yours.
I'm not. I'm no way worthy of anyone's admiration.
My admiration caused both you and the woman you love a great deal of pain. And for that I apologize. But it also shows just how much I wanted to be like you. I would ask for you, if you would be so kind, to consider this a great favor for a starry-eyed little girl. girl who quite literally idolized you to her very soul.
Don't.
I couldn't ask for a greater honor
How can you tell me that?
than to be erased from the world by you, my idol.
And then ask me to kill you?
Please, Michelle, be the one to send me off.
I can't do it. No matter how many times you ask, I can't kill someone who's told me they wanted to live. I know what it's like to wish for life.
I don't know if you've realized it yet, Michelle, but this is the first time we've actually met. The story of the fourth door was Morgana's creation, which means that, until now, we've never been in the same place while both aware of the other's presence. As far as you should be concerned, I'm a complete stranger, yet you still hesitate. I'm glad that you're reluctant, but you've shown me enough sympathy.
I don't consider you a stranger at all. Indeed, this is the first time we formally met, but I've watched you go through so much. I've seen you live 3 different lives. I've seen the impact you had on the people behind all 3 of those doors. You're in no way a stranger.
With my erasure, Morgana's soul will eventually become whole again. Her curse and the eternal cycle of agony it brings will be no more. When I'm gone, everything will return to its rightful place. I implore you to not hesitate any longer.
There are really no other options? Is killing you really the only way to make things right? To release everyone from this curse?
I'm delighted to have finally been able to meet you, the man after whom I modeled myself. I'm incapable of taking my own life, Michelle. God's teachings prohibit it, and as such, my identity as a saint prevents me from doing so.
No, I don't want you to commit suicide. I want you to find some way for you to live, to remain a part of this world.
I know that by asking this of you, I am causing you great heartache, and for that I offer you my sincerest apologies. But so long as I continue to exist in this world, Morgana can never truly have redemption. Tell me, who is it you've been fighting so hard to save?
That doesn't mean that I didn't want to save you too. I believe I could save everyone summoned to the mansion. That no one would have to suffer anymore. That there would be no more tragedies.
Michelle, take the sword, please. Worry not, Michelle. Doing this will allow you to save everyone. You'll cast off the darkness inhabiting this house. Set all its prisoners free. Give Morgana her salvation. And give me mine as well. Extinguishing my soul will be my salvation. I've had a full, satisfying life, even if every moment of it was rooted in iniquity. I had well beyond my share of happiness. I don't need any more. Oh, Michelle, namesake of the great Archangel Michael, and man of tremendous virtue, I ask of you to please draw this cycle of misfortune to an end, to take this blade and deliver everyone from their fates. It must be you, Michelle. You must be the one to do this. Thank you, Michelle, for having the strength to do what must be done. And I apologize for putting you in such a difficult position. Once my soul has been erased, I will be gone from this world forever. I will not return. not in this or any other form. I feel no woe in that knowledge, though. I welcome my destruction with the utmost of joy. However, if it wouldn't be too much to ask for you to keep just a little bit of me in a corner of your soul, Michelle, to remember me, to remember the life I lived, that would make it all worthwhile. Thank you, Michelle. You may very well be a genuine.
The whiteness surrounding me evaporates. I find myself back in the observation tower. I still feel my hand, the impact of the sword piercing her breast. Damn it! Why? Why couldn't there have been some other way? Erasing a soul is not salvation. God damn it all! She deserved better. So much better than that. No. Now's not the time to grieve. There's work to be done. A girl to whom I must offer the chance for salvation. I mustn't cry over the white-haired girl's death now. There are things I need to take care of first. Morgana. Morgana stands there, staring off absently into the distance. After some time, she slowly turns to face me.
What exactly was all that about? Come on, say something. Answer me.
Morgana,
How? It doesn't make any sense. He and the Lord, they couldn't.
there are two different lords. The one at the estate and the one who locked you in a tower.
How? What was he doing there? That's not... I didn't. The man I was trying to curse was the Lord who threw the blood sabbats. How did I... Are you saying I remember wrong? That's ridiculous. I won't hear it. I won't have it for a second.
You were in a very tenuous condition, Morgana. More than even you realized. You can't assume everything you saw in that state of mind to be true.
Why? Just why? That only makes it that much worse. Why would he do that? How could he kill me? He said he would show me the world. I cried for him. And he turns out to be the one pulling the strings.
You saw what led to this. You heard what he had to say for himself. Misunderstandings that went unresolved and should have been cleared up immediately. What he did was wrong. Indefensible, as far as I'm concerned. This all could have been avoided had told you everything. That said, Morgana, I can somewhat sympathize with how he felt then.
You can sympathize with that monster? In what way?
He loved you. Sincerely loved you. And to be the target of such vitriol from a girl he cares so dearly about, you've been mistaken for someone else entirely. I can understand how that would have hurt.
It doesn't matter. That doesn't change anything. Like I said before you started all this, it doesn't change anything. Does this revelation change what happened to me? Does it make me any less of a hate-filled witch? What does it matter if he had his reasons? What does it matter if he's not who I thought he was? It doesn't change the fact that I despise him with every fiber of my being.
It's time to let go, Morgana. I met the white-haired girl. I know her true nature.
That's not me.
You're right. I cannot definitely say that you and the white-haired girl one the same. However, I can say with certainty that she was a part of you. A creation of your broken spirit. The fact remains that she was closer to you than anyone else, in every sense of the word. Can you see the situation you're in, Morgana? The terrible, tragic irony of it all? You've cursed yourself along with everyone else. You brought ruin to the life of your own creation, numerous times. You murdered yourself. It's time to let go, Morgana. There's only pain to be found in continuing down this road. Morgana. I take a step towards her. She steps back, quietly maintaining our distance. I can almost hear trembling in her voice as she said,
Stay back. You stay away from me.
I have nothing to be afraid of, Morgana. I won't hurt you.
I said, stay back. I bet you think this is hilarious. That I'm blind and a fool.
Morgana.
Yeah, good on you, my dear. You've revealed my big secret. That I'm a feeble-minded little girl with a poor memory. You've uncovered the truth of my death. Discovered the white-hair girl's true identity. I always presumed she was you. How foolish of me. Laughing like I knew anything. Cursing the entirely wrong man. Absolutely brilliant, you might say. I've made myself into quite the laughingstock.
I'm not going to laugh about your pain, Morgana. I've come to realize that perhaps I empathize with you out of more than just our shared loneliness. We're both yoked with unimaginable misfortune. Never lies in lamentation of our fates. I understand your pain.
That boat has long since sailed.
You're right. It has. This is a realization I should have come to much sooner. Though you said it wouldn't have mattered, I still should have made an effort to get to know you in life. I feel guilty about how I constantly push you away. So, I'd like to make up for that now. I approach Morgana, hands stretched out towards her. She stands there, bewildered, as I place them on her shoulders, pulling her in. Not for my own comfort, as I had so many times before. Not out of some pretend sense of pity for said pile of bones. I embrace her, not out of pain and loneliness she holds inside. Her body gives off no warmth. It's as weightless as a skeleton all those many years ago. She, like me, lost so much in life. Unlike me, she has no one there in her final moments. It's alright, Morgana. Everything's okay now. The tale behind the fourth door may have been a fabrication, but the creator's soul is always somewhere to be found in her creations. Knowing the inseparable links between her and the white-haired girl, I swear I'll find what I'm looking for. I'm here for you. You're not alone, Morgana. We can end all this suffering together. It's going to be okay.
What's wrong with you? Have you completely lost it? Do I need to remind you of everything I've done? Of all the pain I've caused you?
No reminder is necessary. It quite a number of me indeed.
Then do you want to tell me how we went from that to you holding me?
You didn't do what you did, or a particular grudge against me. That much was always certain. So I'll hold nothing against you. Bear no ill will. And what I'm certain does Giselle.
You're much too forgiving.
Imagine there's something about having experienced the kind of pain we had that makes it hard to harbor any ill will towards one of our kind. Shared trauma or not.
Shared trauma or not, you and that woman really are something. God, there are no words. For how much you irritate me.
The bite slowly drains from Morgana's voice. In the quiet, I think I hear a muffled attempt to hold back a whimper. I pull away slightly, put a hand under her chin and lifting her head. She quickly averts her eyes, but must have knocked my hands away as I reached them into her hood, gently settling against her cheeks. Rubbing fingers across the exposed flesh, and slowly pull back the hood, covering her face. Well, look at that. You're quite pretty without your face hidden.
I didn't think you were the flattering type.
I assure you, I'm not. Go on, touch your cheeks. Now this is the girl you're always meant to be. If Morgana had a less harrowing life, this is probably what she would have looked like at 16. You know, you look a little like the white-haired girl.
We look nothing alike. I can assure you of that. She was the very antithesis of me.
But she was also a part of you.
The last thing I want is to be like her in any way.
And why is that?
Because I never liked that girl at all. Always putting others before herself. Just watching her was aggravating. Although, in retrospect, she was everything about myself I deemed unnecessary. So that might explain why it was so hard to watch. Also, I was so sure she was you, which made it all the more frustrating.
Why would her being me bother you so much?
Because that wasn't you. You're aggressive, you yell, you fight.
Is that how she saw me?
How wouldn't it bother me that you came back as a quiet, passive, subservient girl? Of course, now that I know it wasn't you, so...
You were that sure it was me, despite thinking we were nothing alike.
Apparently so.
Hold on a second. Why would that bother you?
I'll let you figure that one out. It's not important. So, you've got my attention. What are you planning to do now?
To leave the mansion with you. To set everyone free and break the curse. Setting them free will set you free as well.
So you want me to release their souls?
Exactly.
Just so you know, I haven't forgiven them. My hatred isn't just going to vanish like it was nothing. I'll never be able to forgive them completely. But you're right. This has gone on long enough.
Morgana,
I'm not even sure what I'm doing anymore. And it's all your fault. So, sure, I'll release their souls.
I'm so glad to hear it.
However, I don't want to see them alone. I'm not sure I'll be able to set them free if I have to face them on my own.
That won't be a problem. I'll go with you. We'll go see them together.
You get to be my guide this time, then. Get to take up Giselle's old mantle.
That I do.
Even if it means taking this hand.
You honestly think I have any reservations about that?
God, I swear. You really are the worst. Lead the way, my dear. To where their souls wait.
Hand in hand, we traveled the cursed mansion's corridors. The halls overflowed with darkness, cut off from the sun and devoid of color. Despite having spent much time in this place, it's never stopped being depressingly gloomy. No one, for any reason, should be left behind in a place like this. We crossed through the living room, make our way back to the garden door. There are no children laughing beyond the door. I can faintly smell flowers.
Michelle? What am I supposed to say to them?
If nothing comes to mind, you don't have to say anything. I get the feeling they'll have something to say to you, though. So you would try to hear them out.
I'm not looking forward to this.
It'll go fine. I promise. Nothing that happens could possibly make things worse than they already are. The only way to go from here is up. So, up we go.
Let's go then, I suppose.
A hollow breeze brushes through the gray-filled rose garden. The shadow standing there turns towards us. He gradually starts looking more and more like the young man he once was.
Morgana?
It's okay. We're here to free your soul.
Michelle? You forgive me for what I did, Morgana?
No, I don't. All this means is that I'm done cursing you.
Either way, thank you. I know what I'm doing here now. Or I guess I remember what I'm doing here. I deserved to be cursed after everything I've done to you. It can't have been easy, that's for sure. Sorry for all the pain I caused.
What's done is done.
I guess. Still, I wasn't lying when I said I wanted to be friends. I meant it. I really did.
I know now why you did what you did. Why you sold me out. some people might say you had no other choice, but as the girl who you actually sold out, those are words you'll never hear from my lips.
Fair enough.
Nonetheless, objectively speaking, you too were a victim. Do you not resent me for punishing you in spite of that?
Huh?
I presume you're now able to recall everything, both your first life and the second one I subjected you to when the house was called Rose Manor?
Yeah.
What happened then was the result of my wish. You have every right to despise me.
The way I see it, with or without your curse, Nellie still would have had the same feelings for me. It was my fault for being too dense to realize she thought of me as more than a brother. Things would have turned out the way they did regardless.
The white-haired girl was the spark that set her off, though. And it was because of me that she ended up at that mansion. My wish was to see your life utterly ruined. And in service of that desire, the white-haired girl was born into that era as your half-sister. So I disagree. My curse did play a significant role in your fate.
Regardless, I don't feel like it would be right of me to blame you. Things turned out the way they did because I was weak and ran from the problem instead of facing it. Michelle wouldn't have had to get hurt either if I only had more of a spine. I guess calling her Michelle is kind of confusing with Michelle here, huh? How should I refer to her then? Girl, Michelle, maybe?
Creativity is not your strong suit, is it?
She wouldn't happen to be around, would she?
She has departed from this world. Or, perhaps it would be better to say, she's returned to her rightful place in it. The girl you knew as Michelle is gone forever.
Ah. That's too bad. I was hoping I could apologize to her too.
I believe I've made your feelings quite clear.
Not that she would hold it against you if you didn't apologize. That's simply her nature.
Oh. Well, Morgana. I'm so sorry for everything.
I'm going to free your soul from the bonds of this cursed mansion, after which it should return to its rightful place.
Okay. But before that, I've got one last thing I'd like to say. To you, Michelle.
To me?
It was a little hazy, but I did kinda get to see what you were up to until just a little bit ago. If you hadn't done what you did for me, for Nellie, for Morgana, for everyone, I'm not sure I would have been able to work up the guts to apologize. I'm pretty sure I would have still been convinced I wasn't at fault. It may not have been real, but your effort wasn't in vain. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, I guess this is goodbye.
Farewell, Mell. Until our souls cross paths once more in the boundless sphere of fate.
Goodbye, Morgana.
You don't have to tell me that he wasn't a bad person. But bad people aren't the only ones who do bad things.
That's true, yes. But having a conscience could be a double-edged sword. Regret's so overwhelming you don't want to believe you could do something so awful that some outside force must be to blame. So I hope you're willing to accept at least part of his apology.
Lead the way, my dear. To where the next soul awaits.
The staircase leading to the cellar is quiet. The air is still. No sounds of flesh being devoured, no stench of blood. Just darkness, reaching ever downward.
I'm going to have to ask you to go in first this time.
I don't mind, but why?
I'd rather not be skewered.
He'll be fine, I'm sure. I doubt he'll attack.
I can't say that I'm anywhere near as confident as you. So you get to be my meat shield, should anything go wrong.
So that's what I am to her.
We may not have bodies, but we are still capable of feeling pain.
You don't have to remind me.
I have to say, I'm surprised you actually made it to the top of the tower.
Is that supposed to be a compliment?
Half and half. Regardless, don't assume you're safe just because you're already dead. If he were to attack and destroy your soul, you would be erased for all eternity. There would be no coming back in any shape or form after any amount of time. Just something to keep in mind.
I'm not worried. We shouldn't have any trouble talking to him.
If you say so, then off we go.
I push open the cellar door. Behind it, a shadow of a man sits on the floor, leaning against a stack of boxes. He slowly rises to his feet upon hearing us enter. As he does, the blackness dissolves away, revealing the man.
I almost didn't recognize you. Your face, it's not how I remember.
It's back to normal.
I see. So you weren't a witch. You were a pretty human girl. You look a little like the blind girl.
No, I do not. Not one bit. If anything, he looks far more like her than I. White hair, red eyes. They even have almost the same name.
I think comparing her to a large, dour-looking man is a bit disrespectful.
Don't pretend you look any more approachable.
He's not even half the man you think he is.
Is that really necessary, Morgana?
He is a man. He's indisputably a man. No matter what reason you have to claim otherwise. Actually, can angels be male or female?
Can you please cut out with that angel thing already?
So, what brings you two down here?
We're here to free your soul.
You're forgiving me?
Absolutely not. However, I've decided there's no point in punishing you any further.
I see.
You are, in no uncertain terms, one of the most evil men I have ever encountered.
I can hardly argue with that.
Should you so desire, I can eradicate you.
Morgana, what a...
Let me finish, Michelle. Instead of letting your soul return, I can erase it. Your existence is a scar on the world. The allure of killing is too strong for you to resist. Even without my curse, you would bring pain and misfortune on others.
You're right. And that would probably be for the best. The world would be better off without me. And I know that. I do. But I don't want to disappear.
As you wish. Then I will release your soul.
Before I go, allow me to burn this into my soul. You must resist temptation if you are to blend in. So in my next life, I won't be a killer.
I suppose it's worth trying. Do your best.
I will.
Farewell, Yukimasa. Until our souls cross paths once more in the boundless sphere of fate.
Farewell, Morgana.
He's not the only one who derived pleasure from others' pain.
Morgana.
It's strange. Setting them free, I both feel like a weight's been lifted, and like I'm the greatest villain of them all.
Perhaps by forgiving them, you can come to forgive yourself.
But if I forgive them, what does that make everything I've done up to now?
The first step towards moving on.
Could you forgive those who wronged you then? The woman who tormented you? Your brother who made a mockery of you? Your eldest brother who took your life? Your mother, so unwilling to accept you, she burned you at the stake? The villagers who falsely accused you of being a witch? Your father who raped the woman you love? Could you forgive them?
If they were willing to repent,
And if they weren't? What if they showed up intent on causing you more pain?
then I
suppose I'm not acting much better than any of them right now. Let's go. We have one more soul to free. There's something I've been meaning to ask you. Is Giselle really there with you? Because I can't sense her at all. If she were in the mansion, I would know. But I can't feel her presence anywhere. Be honest with me. You can't feel her either, can you? Are you sure her soul hasn't extinguished?
She's here. I'm certain of it. Lost somewhere deep in the mansion's darkness. Once we purge the darkness, she'll be free to return. I have faith in her.
I see. Well, I'm not sure how much this means coming from me. But I hope you see her again.
I will. Thank you.
I'm actually rather fond of her, Giselle. Although, I suppose it's hard not to get a little attached to someone you spent several hundred years with.
Just attached. Giselle is fairly fond of you herself.
I can only hope.
The smell of cigarette smoke seeps through the cracks in the den door. It's perfectly quiet behind it, however. No chatter or clacking of billiards balls. Morgana appears slightly reluctant to step through the door. Perhaps she's intense. Shall we? Her hand in mine, push open the door. A shadow is perched on the edge of a dark green rectangular table. He freezes for a moment when he hears us enter, quickly finding his composure and marching towards us, determination in his step. The shadows dissolve, revealing the man.
Morgana. Your face, it healed.
It did.
It's been a long time coming. And would you look at that? Not a letdown. Was it him that helped you?
Yes, it was him.
Well, I'll be. I was always hoping I'd be the one to have the honor.
You lost that qualification when you...
Yeah. I know. I'm the one who made you into the witch. The one who killed you. I don't expect or deserve your forgiveness. I'd still like a chance to make amends any way you wish. Even if it means being cursed for all eternity.
I'm here to release your soul. Once that's done, that's it for me. No curses, no forgiveness, nothing.
So you're cutting ties completely.
Truthfully, I had no idea how you felt about me. But that ship sailed long ago. Far, far too long ago. Nothing can change how I feel about you. Not anymore.
I bet.
I'm going to release your soul now.
Could you hold off for a moment? I don't expect you to reciprocate or even attempt or accept, but if I don't put my feelings into words, I'll never get them through to you. I think that's how she put it anyway. So, I ask for this one last chance to put them into words.
Morgana,
Fine.
With the white hair, my wife.
Michelle? Whatever.
Something about the name always felt off. I could never shake the feeling that calling her that was somehow wrong. When I first saw her, I first saw that smile. I was dead certain that she was what had always been missing from my life. That I finally had found what I'd been searching for. And now, I know why. Because I felt you in her. The memories of you ingrained on my soul.
You should know better than anyone that we are nothing alike. That girl wouldn't say anything remotely impolite even if you held a knife to her throat.
You're right. You're nothing alike. But you've both got this aura about you that drew me in. Your soul's aura. I loved you dearly, Morgana. I've got no right to ask anything of you, I know. But could you maybe smile for me? Just once is all I ask.
I can't do it. I should. I know I should. That it would let us end things on a nice note. But I can't force myself to smile. It wouldn't be fair.
Yeah. I I guess you're right. Sorry for putting you in that position. I've said my piece. I'm ready now.
Okay. Very well then. Farewell, Jacopo. Until our souls cross paths once more in the boundless sphere of fate.
Goodbye, Morgana.
You couldn't have done anything more for him?
Such as? I won't deny that my feelings about him are complicated. But the things he did to me, they eclipse all that. Merely learning the truth, hearing how he felt, is nowhere near enough to erase that.
Could you at least put a little hope in your next lives? That maybe you two could try again?
No, I can't. I don't want to encounter him again. Ever.
Then, if nothing else, could you try not to forget that he did save you once?
I suppose. Though my salvation, Michel, was not ultimately at his hands. I was watching to the very end. It may have all been an illusion constructed from the memories of everyone's souls. But that didn't make your actions any less real. The things you said to me, your earnest desperation. Learning the truth is only partly why I decided to release their souls. The biggest reason, however, was seeing how far you went for me. If you hadn't been there for my death, if you hadn't done what you did, then I would not have freed them.
Nonetheless, is it unfair of me to wish you have shown him that smile instead? Morgana?
Well, that's the last of them. Shall we be off now? The front door should open, now that I'm not willing it closed any longer. Shall we take our leave of this house?
There's one more stop to make. There's still one more soul that needs releasing.
Be my guide.
Still holding Morgana's hand, I make my way to the wall, where the landscape painting hangs. You told me to come back if I ever figure out your name. George. Look.
Hey, Michelle.
Hello?
How'd you figure out it was me?
Of course I would recognize my own brother. Well, granted, I didn't recognize you at first.
It's not every day your big bro winds up as a painting, huh?
It came as quite a surprise when I finally made a connection.
I'll bet it did.
Hold on a minute. You two are brothers?
I assume you knew.
Oh, hello there. Quite the companion you've got there, Michelle. So what brings you two to my little corner of the house?
I've decided I'm going to extinguish the mansion.
Oh, really? Well, isn't that something?
act like I just told you what I'm having for supper. This place is going to disappear. Forever.
Well, yeah, sure, but what brought about this?
I've lost interest in cursing them.
Ah, now that's some good news.
You seem to get along surprisingly well with her.
Time out the hoo-ha and nobody else will talk to you. Time out the hoo-ha and nobody else to talk to will do that to you. Not that she ever gave me the time of day much.
You expect me to stand here and listen to you yammer on for hours on end? The only thing you're good for is tossing rubbish into.
Wait, so she was the one who put the master bedroom key in a painting?
That she was. Just tossed her right on in without even asking.
Why'd you get rid of the key to my room?
I had no use for it. And being in that room always made me uncomfortable. It has this terrible warmth to it. I couldn't stand it.
Huh.
Sure glad she only tossed the key, though. Would have been bad if she'd thrown me out with it.
I didn't see the need. I did find it curious there was a soul here I hadn't summoned, but you were ultimately harmless, so I simply pretended you weren't there.
Or she ignored him for hundreds of years?
I understand now what you meant, Michelle, when you said this world didn't belong only to me. Your brother was able to find his way here because it's a place deeply bound to your soul.
I'm no expert on none of this spiritual stuff. All I know is one day I was just here. Here and full of regret. So if I had to guess, I'd say I probably ended up here because I wanted to be somewhere I could feel you, Michelle.
George,
Would you be so kind as to let me apologize?
I know quite well how sorry you are. You already apologized once, besides. What years not seeing you, not hearing from you, not having an idea what you thought about me. So when I got that painting, it was a huge blow to me, emotionally. But talking to you again, it's reminding me what kind of person you really are, George. It didn't mean to hurt me.
Nope. Honestly, I had no idea what I was doing. Mom said paint it, so I painted it. And when she told me she'd send it off to you, I didn't really think anything of it. It never even crossed my mind to think about how you felt out there, all alone. The kind of pain you were going through just because of the way you were born. When you're not the one on the receiving end, it's easy to be completely blind to your own actions. It never even occurred to me that we'd essentially exiled you, Michelle. Not until it was all over. Really, all I can say is sorry you got stuck with such a dope for a brother. All I had to do was think about it for 2 seconds and I would have realized what we were doing. And you know, at that time I thought, what's it matter if you're a guy or a girl? You're still you. I was wrong. It's not that simple. I can only imagine someone coming up to me one day saying, you're actually a girl. And everyone I care about suddenly not wanting anything to do with me. What a drag that'd be. I'm really sorry, bro.
It's okay, George. I forgive you.
Thanks.
I wanted so badly to see you and Didier again, George. Of why I didn't get a chance in life. I'm so glad I had the opportunity to talk to you now. To hear the things you never got to say. It pains me to see you reduced to this form, but knowing that it's a result of overwhelming regret. You're just that desperate to find me again. It warms my heart. What? What on earth was that?
Me trying my damnedest not to burst into tears. I don't think it worked very well, though. Does the canvas look wet? Could you feel it for me?
I think I'll pass.
Not filling up for any brotherly love?
Honestly, I'm relieved to see it's still the same George I always knew.
Changing ain't really my thing after all.
I suppose it isn't.
This doesn't sit right with me.
What? Why not?
You're letting him off the hook far too easily, Michelle. I know very well just how much pain that painting caused you. It might as well have been what resurrected me.
I've moved past that, though.
Make him pay for what he did. Scribble on him.
Do what?
Scrawl your anger all over that ridiculous painting.
I'm not angry.
Now that's a damn fine idea if I ever heard one. You most definitely need to make me paint, Michelle.
George?
Go on. Hit me with everything you got. Scribble away.
Even if I wanted to, I have nothing to draw with.
Just use your finger, and I'll trace it out for you. Come on, what are you waiting for?
He really wants me drawn to him, doesn't he?
He more than deserves it, Michelle.
Bring it on, Michelle.
This conversation got bizarre fast. Okay. I'll draw on you.
Oh my.
Now that is downright ghastly.
What?
You might actually have potential, Michelle. Voodoo dolls are the last thing I expected from you.
4 of them at that.
And a demonic being alongside them?
Oh, I could just feel your burning rancor, Michelle.
That's not what I drew at all.
What? Then what is it?
It's not important. Now that that's finished, I think it's time we all took our leave.
Oh, can I come too? Well, I might need a little help with that, Michelle. As you can see, walking ain't one of my talents.
It's alright. I'll carry you.
Careful taking me off my hook.
By all means, feel free to drop him, Michelle. I must say, that is a rather amusing sight.
It's definitely not every day you get to see a full-grown man turned painting being hauled down a spooky hole by his little bro.
George.
It does make me wonder, though. Are you two really brothers? I have a hard time believing you share even a drop of blood with this obnoxious lout, Michelle.
We are brothers. Right, George?
Whoa, don't you start questioning it too, Michelle. We are absolutely, positively, 100% brothers.
She has a good point, though. We don't even look that much alike.
No shocking family plot twists here. I've known you since you were a baby, Michelle.
Maybe you were secretly illegitimate, George. Not me.
You're not gonna let go of this, are you?
I'm just playing with you.
Oh my god. You just laughed.
Yes.
What? I didn't get to see it! What was it like? Give me all the details.
An ordinary laugh.
Is the world ending?
It's not that big a deal. I laugh just like anyone else.
No, you most certainly do not.
Nope, you definitely don't. Well, so much for my tearful reunion with the brother I always knew and loved. Anyway, since we're breaking character here, how about one from our favorite witch, too? And no cackling, that doesn't count.
Excuse me? Why would you want me to...
Because every time I've seen you smile, it's never been about anything good. Plus, now that you've got your face back, you're actually quite the looker. Go on, give me a big old grin.
Not happening.
Come on. Okay, fine. If you don't want to do it for me, pretend it's for Michelle.
What do I have to do with anything?
You can do it for old Michelle, can't you? Show him those pearly whites, girlie. Oh, if you insist, I suppose I can smile for Michelle, but only him.
Excuse me, was that supposed to be my voice? Because I do not sound anything like that.
Look at you, all puffing your cheeks and red in the face.
George, try not to tease her too much.
Ugh, I don't know how anyone can stand you. It's like every word that comes out of your mouth exists solely to ruin the mood.
You know, it wouldn't hurt to lighten up a little bit. This is the end of a long journey, but it doesn't mean we have to make it a somber, uptight affair.
I am genuinely not sure how I feel about you, the most somberly uptight man I know, telling me to lighten up.
Just got a point. But I'm not that bad, am I?
Anyway, shall we be off now?
That we shall. The witch and her band of merry men departs.
I'm not sure if one person in a talking painting constitutes a band.
Giselle, now we found each other again. Of faith we will. We cast away this mansion's darkness. Now await your return. No matter how long it takes. Yes, I think it's time we took our leave. Haven't finished what we set out to do. Retrieve George as well. Make our way to the mansion's entrance hall. The large door stands there, firmly shut, holding in the darkness as for countless generations. That time's almost at an end. The door is ready to be opened, to end the cycle, and begin anew.
Being a painting for all these years, I never realized just how big a place this was. All I ever got to see was a hallway and maybe a couple of doors. I mean, talk about dull, you know? Feels like I'm on an adventure, exploring a whole new world. A very, very dark world.
Michelle, would you mind shutting him up?
If only it were that simple.
Can you blame me for being talkative? It was a lonely life.
That would be fine if you had any concept of the appropriate time and place to be chatty. Are you aware of where we are right now?
The entrance, by the looks of things.
Precisely. The end to a centuries-long active vengeance is but a few feet beyond that door. And you're chatting away like it's another day at the court. Try to maintain at least a semblance of gravity, if you would.
I sometimes notice you're rather ceremonious, aren't you, Morgana?
This is a day to be celebrated, not to be all stiff and no fun allowed.
Are you not at all worried? There's no guarantee any hope lies beyond that door. After After all, when the mansion disappears, so too will we.
And that's the rightful state of things. Our present forms may cease to exist. Our souls will live on. So long as they do, we will eventually return to the world. Let's press onward, not fearing a temporary end.
Well said, Michelle. If I had feet, you'd have just swept me right off them.
George, I'm beginning to wonder what would happen if I threw you at the wall.
Now, let's not do anything hasty.
Oh, for God's sake. You're the guide. So, let's go then, shall we?
Morgana's right. There's a severe lack of gravity to the affair. Thanks to George's lackadaisical nature, whatever fear I had is gone as well. His ever playful interactions bring me back to when I was alive, when it was me and my two brothers. Fond memories of the time we had together, and the admiration I had for them, and me chasing after them. Nothing could possibly replace those days. I'm glad I had a chance to reflect on them, if briefly, before then. Take a few steps forward, stopping just in front of the door. Morgana steps up beside me. I envision the light that lies behind it, beyond it, radiant and white, waiting to rip through the darkness. Light we seek, and we have long sought. I take in a deep breath, look up at the door, place my hand on its hard surface, and push it open, welcoming the future it holds. Nolan,
Burn the witch.
What?
Crucify the impure.
we take one step back, then another. When we find our side is not a blinding realm of light, returning blackness and a stench of blood and rust. Metal clanks, growing louder with each heavy footstep, but approaching night.
Death to the unholy. 30 days and 3 nights hanged upon the cross, purified by the fires of heaven. Death.
What's going on? I never summoned this thing.
He no longer holding hands. I can feel Morgana trembling. She's no longer the witch, the once absolute ruler of this domain, but a frightened young girl. Placing my arm around her shoulders and pulling her in, I stare half dumbfounded at the night.
It is our holy duty as knights of the church to deliver punishment unto the heathen who made a pact with the devil.
The night draws nearer and nearer. Its movement is sluggish but constant. Didier,